Today I will show you how to configure your MVT spam settings. At the end of this video, I will talk about how the spam and antivirus programs work. Knowing how things work gives you a better understanding as to what the capabilities are. First, let's look at, we're going to pull up Thunderbird, and we've got a fictitious email account for John Smith at mvdsl.com. And right now we're looking at John's inbox. With Thunderbird, there's also Outlook. You may be familiar with Windows Mail. You may have an Apple device or an Apple device that also have apps that look similar to this. But one of the things we're going to look at next is when a spam message comes in, MVT Spam Filter will move that message to a spam folder. Now it's possible that on your computer you do not have a spam folder. Now this has to do with how the email was set up on your computer. It goes into whether it's POP or IMAP, which is beyond the discussion of this video. But so if your computer was set up as POP, you won't have this spam folder, but we're going to show you how to view that spam folder through the webmail a little bit later, and you'll be able to do everything you can do if your computer was also IMAP. So first off, we're just going to go here and we're going to look at the messages. Now we see messages here that are obviously spam. I had a website that sent me these messages, so it's just a test of the filter. So they got pulled in as spam, so we know they're not good. But let's suppose, for discussion of this video, that these are messages that you really want to get, that you want to receive all email from this mailer at maysoft.org. So how we do this is, first off, we're just going to minimize this and we'll go back to the MVDSL web page, and we're going to click on email, click on it again, and we're going to pull up John Smith at MVDSL. And to be different, instead of going to Webmail Lite, we're going to go to Tuxedo and log in. Now you'll see the same inbox here, and if we click on the spam, you'll see the same spam messages. Now to get these spam messages released, the first thing we do is we're going to go here to say, we'll click on Mrs. Linehart, and I've just kind of pushed this down so you don't see the message itself, because some people might be offended. But we could simply go here and click Allow Sender, and what will happen, I'm not going to do it here, but what will happen is that all these messages will be released from mailer at maysoft.org. They will go into your inbox, and this particular sender will be whitelisted. So that's what I would kind of recommend that you do, is periodically log into webmail, check your spam. If you got messages, say maybe from a bank or from a newsletter or something that's being blocked, go in here and always allow that sender so they don't get blocked in the future. The other thing we're going to do here is we're going to go to the spam settings. Now we've got 3 spam settings that we allow our customers to check from. Most of you by default are set for normal. We've got a light spam with quarantine. The difference between the light spam and the normal is that with the light spam you'll probably get more marketing type emails. The normal blocks more of those marketing, maybe newsletters, than the spam would. The strict is more strict than the normal. It blocks more stuff. It also checks to make sure that the email itself is properly formatted and a bunch of kind of stuff. We probably wouldn't use strict, but it's there in case you want to use it. I would select normal or light, depending on how much junk you want to get. Now down here is something that is also kind of interesting. The from blacklist. If there's a particular sender that you don't want to get stuff from, you just put their email address in there and it will always block it. Now the whitelist, remember we talked about that allow sender. When you click allow sender from the spam folder, that particular email address gets added to this whitelist. You can also manually add stuff to the whitelist. Suppose your friend is emailing, you just want to make sure he never gets blocked by the spam filter. You put their address in there. One thing I wouldn't recommend doing is, say maybe your friend's got a Gmail address, I wouldn't put, you could put like @gmail.com, but then everything from Gmail would come through. So make sure you're specific about it. So we're going to go ahead and close this. That pretty much covers the spam settings that I wanted to discuss. Now, for those of you who are interested in how the spam filtering works, I'm going to go to another screen here. I'm going to pop up a PowerPoint that I started to create. And let's see if we can just make this bigger to make it a little easier to see. So, how does the spam filter work? There's basically three things that happen that the spam filter looks at. First is it looks to make sure that the message conforms to set email rules. There's, well, again, specific, there's lots of different things that a legitimate email should look like, and that's one of the things it looks like. Then it goes to a database of known spammers, of the mail servers that are known spammers, and it checks to make sure that the message you're getting does not come from one of these mail servers of known spammers. This is probably where we see most of what they call the false positives, messages that you really want to get that are marked as spam, is because it's being checked against this list. It may be a newsletter that you want to get, and they're using a mail server that not only sends this good email to you, this good newsletter to you, but it also sends out a bunch of garbage too. So that's where you would be prudent to go back and to whitelist that particular email address. Also, if you go to the light setting, you pretty much take this particular check out. So that's why you will probably get more junk emails if you go to the light setting. The other thing that it looks at certain keywords and patterns. Things we're familiar with: Viagra, free Rolex watch, Russian girlfriend, different things like that. And when it sees different things like that, it starts adding a score to it. And if the score gets high enough, then it reaches a certain threshold, then it gets marked as spam and also goes to the spam folder. And we talked about how we move everything to quarantine, and it'll sit there, the message will sit there for 15 days, and then on the 16th day that particular message is automatically deleted. So you won't have any messages in your spam folder that are older than 15 days. Now the other thing we kind of see is we see this quite often where you'll get a file that says, or a message that says something like, you've got an invoice due, click on the attachment. Now the attachments really contains a virus. One of the problems is that can also be a legitimate email too, so it doesn't really look like spam. It's really more of an antivirus, really more of a virus. But one of the ways the antivirus systems works is first, you download a signature file. If you're familiar with Norton or McAfee on your home computer, that's how those things work. When they update, they download this signature file. And so any email that comes in, it looks for specific signatures in the email. If it matches a known one that has a virus in it, then the antivirus blocks it. These signature files get updated periodically, probably daily. Ours does the same thing. One of the things that you need to know is that the signature files get created after the virus has already been out there. So the antivirus programs are always behind. So it will never catch a new virus. And one of the things that these virus writers do is they just mutate their virus just slightly so it can look different and get past the spam filters. So I guess it's always prudent to be wary of any email that comes in, especially clicking on attachments and links that you're just not sure about. Thank you for spending time with me. Have a good day.